Yesterday we discussed how Sila is important in shaping one's body and also the mind. Both the body and mind are shaped as a result of the practice of Sila, morality. Only when this morality is well protected, well guarded, well practiced, will you be able to go to another world or go into another existence, and also practice a high level discipline or the way of mindfulness. Sila is the basic. One has got to be grounded in morality in order to practice this meditation. Just like when you want to grasp or hold or get a thing which is out of reach, out of ordinary reach, you need a durable foundation to step on and get the thing that you want. So in order to gain insight, Sila also is very important. Without Sila, one cannot gain insight. Only with Sila also, one will be able to concentrate one's mind and to cultivate knowledge, insight knowledge. Sila is also crucial. With the Sila, based on Sila, one cultivates knowledge, which is a discriminating knowledge, seeing things as they are, such as seeing the nature of the objects, such as the discernment of mind and body, their conditionality and the universal characteristics by stages, until one is able to cultivate this insight knowledge and realize the real peace. Once you are able to discriminate, once you are able to cultivate the true nature of things, then you are said to be overcoming the avijja, ignorance. Now, avijja is of two kinds: simple unknowing and knowing wrongly, misconception. Just like you're saying, vijjupada, avijja nirodha. Once you are able to see things as they are, cultivate knowledge, then this ignorance, avijja, will cease to exist, will be overcome. Seeing the true nature of things, this avijja, ignorance, which is of two kinds, not knowing and simple unknowing and not knowing wrongly, will be overcome. They will cease to exist. This avijja is like a light, and avijja, ignorance, is like darkness. When there is darkness, there will be no light. When there is light, there will be no darkness. Avijja is just like a light. In the room, if you turn on the light, the darkness will be gone automatically. You don't have to do it purposely. You don't have to bring the light will be gone, the darkness will be gone. So also, once you know, the unknowing, the ignorance will be gone. You don't have to remove it purposely. Now, where does this knowledge come from? It comes from deepening of concentration. We have discussed this Kanika Samadhi, momentary concentration. As the mind falls calm and collected on the object momentarily, there arises the Kanika Samadhi, momentary concentration. With this concentration also is caused by sustained mindfulness on the object of noting, of attention. And this sustained mindfulness can also be sustained by noting every arising object, so as not to miss them. Then you must be prepared to note. You need a predetermination, preparation, that I will note every arising object with alertness, diligence, wakefulness, not in a casual, lax manner, but diligently. There should be virya all the time, exertion of energy all the time, so that you are able to stay with the object, follow the object, without missing them, so that your mindfulness will be activated in stages continuously. These are they will give rise to tremendous powers, mental powers, and that arises only when you are grounded in Sila, morality, and that should be understood. That's why Sayadaw touched on the subject of Sila. Today we shall continue on the subject. When you say Vijja as light, it is just mere comparison. It is not the actual light, the natural light. Some also consider it as natural light. This is only for comparison, as an analogy, not the actual light. So, the light, when you say light, it means seeing things in the true nature, seeing the true nature of these things, so that the observation, the awareness becomes very clear and not dim or diluted, but is very clear. So when you are practicing Satipatthana, way of mindfulness, based on morality, you are bound to cultivate the Samadhi Khanda, concentration group, as we have discussed yesterday, so that the noting mind goes to the object, is sustained on the object of attention. Once your noting mind is sustained on the object of attention, then you are bound to see things clearly, in a clear-cut manner, not in a dim or diluted manner. That's what is meant by this clarity. So it is mere comparison between the light and Vijja. Sila is given in various ways, connotations. First of all, we have this avidekamo Sila. That means non-transgression is what is meant by Sila, controlling one's physical and verbal behaviors, not to behave wrongly, physically and verbally. Let us say, when we practice the sustain the 5 precepts, we abstain from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, taking intoxicants. All these things are based on these defilements, namely greed, hatred and delusion. So when you transgress, then all your actions will become very gross, very coarse, very gross and coarse, so that you will not be able to control yourself, at the same time harm others. Both are affected. So non-transgression is what is meant in this way, if you practice Sila, morality. When you come to a situation where there is an opportunity or an occasion to harm others based on aversion, anger, ill will, you control yourself. When it comes to covetousness, wishing to destroy others or others' properties, or wishing to take others' property by force, illegally, all these things are based on this gross form of greed. And then also abstaining from sexual misconduct, you have to control yourself, not to commit it. In this way, by controlling, if you don't control in this way, you will be harming yourself, you will be defiling yourself, at the same time others will be affected, others will be harmed. All these things are gross forms of greed and hatred, and not indulging in them, not transgressing physically and verbally, is what is meant by the practice of Sila. This is also called Viditi Sila. When you have occasion to commit, to transgress, you control yourself, such as avidekamo Sila. Practicing Sila outside the practice of bhavana, meditation, in ordinary life, you can practice it, you can control yourself with the practice of intellectual reasoning, which we have discussed, Patisankhana Bala, not to commit wrongly by body, speech and mind, and one reasons intellectually that one should not commit them wrongly, and all these wrong deeds by body, speech and mind give rise to wrong results, wrong consequences, both in the present and future. In this way one reasons intellectually, so that there will not be these dangers. For instance, danger of self-blame, adhanuvara, blaming yourself. You will not blame yourself because you are abstaining from this misconduct. And then you will not be blamed by the wise, by others, especially the wise, paranuvara. Then because of your wrong motive, chirana, also you will not be disciplined by the authorities, dandavaya. There will be no punishment because you are not committing wrong things by body, speech and mind. And because of good chirana, skillful chirana, motive, you will not fall into the state of loss, dugati bhaya. All these dangers will not come to you. You will be free from these dangers. That is the result of intellectual reasoning, patisangkhana bala. Otherwise, you will commit misconduct readily. You will commit physical misconduct, verbal misconduct, and once you commit physical and verbal misconduct, this automatically your mind will also become defiled. The mind will go out of control. Excuse me. So, from all sides, from various sides, you yourself will be impure, physically, verbally and mentally. Your mind will become defiled. Once you are able to practice this intellectual reasoning, as reasoning that these things are disgusting, all these misconduct, misdeeds are disgusting, and they are frightful, and also the consequences of misconduct are disgusting, they are frightful. Once you see them, and even if there is an occasion to commit such things, you will be able to control yourself by just simple reasoning, and thus block the way to misconduct, such as samvara, sila, so that you control your physical, verbal behaviors, not to commit misconduct. At this point, this intellectual reasoning, patisangkhana bala and hiri ottappa, moral shame, moral fear, these are very important powers, qualities in abstaining from immoral conduct, ducharitas. For instance, this hiri bala, the power of moral shame, the power of disgust, to commit wrong deeds by body and speech, and also getting disgusted with the evil consequences as a result of these wrongful deeds. And ottappa bala, the power of fear, moral fear to commit wrong deeds by body and speech, and also moral fear about the consequences of these evil deeds. So, in order to gain these powers, bala, you must possess moral shame and moral fear, hiri and ottappa. These are very important powers, and they are known as sukha dhamma. Sukha dhamma means the states with pure background or white background, purity by body, speech and mind. If you have pure background, it will expel heat instead of absorbing it. If you don't possess hiri ottappa, then you are said to have black background, which will absorb the heat. heat in the form of kilesas, because it will absorb the heat, it will absorb the impurities. So it is necessary to possess this white background, Sukadamas, so that you'll be able to overcome these gross forms of greed, hatred, which are compared to heat. They are said to be expelled, they are said to be removed. So that your physical, mental behaviors will become pure and white, so that there will be no internal enemies, Vira. What are these internal enemies? Internal enemies are transgression by body, speech and mind, and as a result of greed, hatred and delusion. And these kilesas, lova, dosa, moha, themselves are internal enemies. So these internal enemies will not wish for the prosperity of anybody, neither to themselves. They are their own enemies. If you possess these gross forms of hatred, greed, hatred and delusion, you become your own enemy. Because if you don't possess this hiri-ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, you always transgress, so that you are said to possess the black background, which will absorb heat of kilesas. And internal enemies, you will be having these internal enemies, which will become very violent and leading to dangers, 4 kinds of dangers, Bhaya, as we have just discussed. Only when you are free from these enemies, you will be free from these dangers. If you are not free from these enemies, you will not be free from these dangers. So as not to commit, so as to control yourself and not to commit any transgression, not to transgress or not to make mistakes or not to do wrongful things, you must overcome these internal enemies. If you are able to control yourself, you are said to be winning over your own internal enemies. If not, if you are not able to guard yourself, if you try to win over others by means of force, then you are losing in one way. In worldly wise, by controlling yourself with hiri-ottappa, worldly wise, people may say, you may be considered as losing, suffering loss. But Dhamma wise, by controlling yourself, by not winning over others by force, with the practice of hiri-ottappa, Dhamma wise, you are winning over yourself. With the practice of intellectual reasoning and the hiri-ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, you are not committing, you are controlling yourself instead of transgressing, and you safeguard yourself with these 2 powers, hiri-bala, ottappa-bala, the power of moral shame, the power of moral fear, so that your own world, yourself, will be safeguarded. At the same time, you are protecting the world of others. So this is, by doing one thing, you are accomplishing 2 things. If you safeguard yourself, you will be safeguarding others. If you know your own prosperity, you will also know the prosperity of others. Because if you transgress, transgression is not desirable, because it gives rise to evil consequences. And by controlling yourself, safeguarding yourself, there will be only wholesome consequences. So in this way, you control yourself, safeguard yourself. By safeguarding yourself, you are safeguarding others automatically. Because as much as you don't want to be transgressed, you don't want to be affected, you also have sympathetic feeling, compassion towards others. Others also will not wish to be transgressed, will not wish to be harmed. So in this way, with loving kindness and sympathetic feeling, you are safeguarding others. At the same time, in another way, by safeguarding others, so that others are not harmed, you are not defiling yourself. You are safeguarding yourself. This again is accomplishing, by doing one thing, you are accomplishing two things. Whatever way you do, your little world, your own self-world, will not be affected, will not be destroyed. At the same time, the world of others will be safeguarded, so they will achieve peace. Such kinds of practice is known as Lokapala, the guardian of the world. By cultivating one's own world, by safeguarding your physical and moral behaviors, in practical aspect, you are not transgressing. Instead, you are safeguarding yourself, so that your level, your status is said to be uplifted. Your qualities are said to be uplifted, and they are uplifted as a result of Iri-Ottappa, moral shame and moral fear. And hence these two mental states, wholesome mental states, are known as Deva Dhamma. It shines, it has the quality of shining, because it raises the level of yourself, because you are able to control yourself, safeguard yourself. And whoever is fulfilled with these qualities, shining qualities, basically you are practicing this moral conduct, safeguarding, sustaining your moral conduct, so that the other society will know that you are sincere, honest, and praiseworthy. They will trust you, trustworthy, so that you can also occupy high position in the society, and also you can be reborn in the world of devas. Such hence the name. If you are practicing the way of mindfulness, you can also call these two mental states as Visuddhi Deva. Because not only are you able to shape your physical and verbal behaviors in a good way, you are also cultivating mind and insight, so that your mind becomes concentrated, and you are cultivating knowledge, so that in an extraordinary manner you become pure, and you shine, your qualities will shine bright and become graceful. So such is whoever possesses these qualities will shine bright. For some people, the way they conduct themselves by way of wearing nice clothes, speaking softly, sweetly, and smiling, and good human relations, and even when you are eating, how to handle spoons, fork and spoons, and so on. All these things are the way you conduct yourself, the manners which can be graceful. And this is known as Charita Sila. They are good habits in accordance with the nationality, in accordance with the country, in accordance with the society. They have their own good habits, good conduct. If one transgresses this Charita Sila, these things, there cannot be any offense committed. You cannot say you are committing any offense. Although if you transgress, or if you break these rules, break these manners, then of course it will not be good. But what we are talking about is Varidha Sila. That means prohibitions. This should not be done, or this should not be done verbally. This should not be done physically, and so on. They can defile yourself, at the same time harm others. This kind of thing, prohibitions, are things which are not to be transgressed. They are known as real Sila, morality. What Buddha preaches is this Varidha Sila, prohibitions, the morality. So, just with the practice of charita sila, ordinary conduct or manners, and we cannot say that we are able to safeguard ourselves. So these two things should be understood, should be distinguished. Listen about this Paṇḍitā Sila, especially when you are dedicated yogi, noting continuously, dedicated to the practice, even there will be no occasion to transgress or to commit any evil things, immoral things, and also there's no need for yourself because you are automatically guarded, and there's no occasion, knowledge to guard yourself or to safeguard yourself or to control yourself. But by cultivating the mind, you are also cultivating the body, the materiality. And this expression, Atthasamapaniti, conducting yourself in the right way. Atta means mind here, and Sama, well or good, systematically, and Paniti, keeping or shaping. So conducting yourself in the right way. Such is the Atthasamapaniti. This is mental aspect. This concerns mental aspect. Cultivating the mind and insight. In this way, by guarding yourself with vigilant mindfulness of every arising, you're cultivating your mind and insight. You're noting, sustaining your mindfulness with the practice of proper focusing and energy as regards obvious objects as they arise. As much as you activate mindfulness, your mind falls calm and collected on the object of attention. Thus, your mind becomes stilled. In this way, you are overcoming the gross forms of defilements which can arise in your mind, known as pariyutthana kilesas, obsessive defilements. They are said to be subdued. So, at this point, your mind becomes properly ship-shaped, properly molded, because your mind is molded so that your physical and verbal behaviors will also be properly shaped, properly molded. If your mind is not properly shaped, if your mind is not well shaped, then your physical verbal behaviors also will not be shaped properly. They will be gross, they will not be cultivated, they will not be refined. Instead, they will be despicable, they will be ugly. So, if you are practicing mindfulness vigilantly, continuously, then your mind will become beautiful. Your mind is properly shaped. At this point, there will be no occasion for you to safeguard yourself, to control yourself, and also there will be no occasion to transgress or transgression, because your cetana, motivation, is involved. You are motivated. You are not motivated to transgress anything. So your motivation, cetana, intention also is there, so that this kind of morality is known as cetana sila, with which you are controlling yourself, because you are motivated not to commit anything, or you are motivated to control yourself. So every time you practice mindfulness, you are possessing or cultivating this cetana sila. If you are able to control yourself, or you are not able to control yourself, safeguard yourself, then you may come to the extreme of greed, lobha, such as coveting others' properties, and also if when there is occasion for aversion, dislike, things don't appeal to you, then there may be thoughts of harm to others, Theravada. And if these things happen, you will not be able to control yourself. Your Sila, morality, is said to be disrupted, so that everything will be disrupted. So if you are practicing sustaining your mindfulness, guarding your mind, guarding yourself with vigilant mindfulness of heavy arising, by sustaining your mindfulness with application of focusing, the power of focusing and energy, so that the mind falls on the object, concentrating your mind in this way, then your mind will become pure, cultured, refined, peaceful, graceful, and affable. And this is quite satisfactory. In this way, if your mind is properly shaped, then there will be no occasion, no thoughts of covetousness, no thoughts of harming others. No thoughts of covetousness, no thoughts of harming others. No thoughts of covetousness,